Hi everyone, this is Foxev. I wanted to talk about UNI2's meta and where I think Londrekia sits into it. Some of this is just going to be a slideshow. Sincerely, I don't want to waste anybody's time. This is kind of the quickest way to parse the information before I can get into showing off my character. So let's get into it. Okay, big disclaimer. This was a beta that we played over the weekend, so who knows how much of this changes before the final release. So that said, let's go. Uni is a lot faster now. And I mean, also just, it's literally faster. Characters are zooming at you, you have a smaller throw tech window, you can no longer crouch shield OS, and you have a VO that is going to be kind of hard to, you have to hard bait it on your offense unless you have specific tools meant to do that. So the game's offense and defense are both much more committal. It's more binary. Things just happen. Like I said, it's a faster game. So this whole section here about damage it's all true. I mean, the damage in this game right now is pretty high. It's pretty aggressive. So rounds can end really easily. That means that between those two things, while Uniclear was kind of described as like a survival horror game. Where you kind of just wanted to hoard your good game state. You didn't want to overcommit on your offense, and definitely not in neutral. And the reward for winning neutral was not as high. A lot of games went to time. This game will come down to the clock sometimes, but for the most part, this is a killing game. Characters are giga dying in this game. All characters universally have more of an ability to just make the opponent guess on their throw. So pressure in that sense is validated, and that you really don't want your opponent to be running up on you. You have more of an incentive to stop them from just dashing at you. Even the characters that were primarily good at controlling space now can control space in order to condition to go for a much stronger throw threat. Okay, so let's look at a criteria for how strong a character is in this new meta. Okay, so this one is, are these kind of canned situations that you can have canned answers for, or can they vary their pressure up on the fly depending on what you are showing them? Every character can do this to a degree. I do think that some characters can do it better than others. And how they go about doing it is very different from character to character. Like obviously, Yakuya has insane staggers, and he really has to lean into the stagger windows on his normals in order to make his pressure scary. So this next one, can a character meaty the opponent without having to stick their neck out? Like if your character's meaty is 2A, that's rough, buddy. that's pretty rough. It's better in this version of the game to have some way to deal with that fast veil off at low commitment. And on the flip side, can you get out of someone just doing a meaty 2A to you? And how good are your buttons to stop a character from just running in on you? You know, how much can you enforce on your defense? This section is, you have some kind of set play tool that can bait throw OSs. If your character doesn't have to stick their neck out in order to bait a tech option, that is inherently pretty strong, because there's less volatility in the situation. There's less of a chance that you say go for assault and you get 3-catted or you get veiled off, you know? And the last section would just be, how good are the character's neutral tools? And how well can they use resources? Can they use meter to neutral skip, you know? Do they need CS to get in? Do they need CS in a matchup in order to get their game plan running? That's not good, by the way. We're rating that poorly. And do they need resources to get damage from common pokes? If they throw out a special in neutral, can they convert that without spending meter? So, with that in mind, let's take a look at Londrekia. 4AA is a change that helps Lance pressure immensely, and even his 2B has a decent stagger window now. So while his staggers aren't the best, his rebeats are quite good, and his ability to set up spacing traps is quite strong. As a bonus, he has multiple ways of using CS to check for green shields even at far range on his offense. And of course, these double as pressure resets. Overall, his cycle control on offense is pretty potent. At least during the beta, he has access to ridiculous grid reward if he gets a hit. Londrekia doesn't have to meaty with buttons in most situations. Or rather, the buttons that he's meeting with are either some kind of safe jump or a fully disjointed launcher. He also has Blossom setups that will meaty the opponent for him while he blocks. On defense, Londrekia's buttons are very reliable. His 6-frame 5A occupies a really important space to contest pressure and confirms easily for what is now very respectable damage even when cornered. 5BB is one of the strongest and most ignorant mid-range buttons to press on defense, and his reward is also much higher. His 4C, while slower at 15 frames, is also capable of covering a space far in front of him so that the opponent can have difficulty repressuring at range. His lows are serviceable and easily rewarding if the opponent gets caught by one, but it generally still feels better to press 2C instead of 2B. As far as reversals, he only has his force function, which is slow to start up at 13 frame and not throw-in ball. However, he can alternate between showing force function on defense and using a rising button OS to punish opponents trying to take advantage of that throw vulnerability. The damage when FF hits is 100% consistent, and the buff to the hit advantage means that he always gets the highest damage without giving up Oki afterwards. Lon now has access to full-on strike throw set play, where the situation is they can either take 2.2 or almost 4k from getting baited by the Blossom. He also has tricky cross-ups without having to spend any resources. Because of buffs to his routing, even his worst starter leads to full corner carry into free state. And he also has new meaningful ways to confirm counter hits. This means most of his starters will lead directly to that strike throw set play that is really rewarding. Now, if that isn't enough, his 2-2C can be used to create on-demand strike throw situations in addition to gapless high-lows and plus-on-block left-right mix-ups. He gets to dial a mix with meter, so just being in the corner against him with meter is a bad spot to be in. Londrekia's neutral is still really strong. Opponents still have to respect, C-Rekka, Hydroblading, 4C, 6-6C. Now, 6-6C did receive a nerf. It no longer universally catches opponents up backing. Now it's only just a few characters. But it did receive a nice cancel window on block, leading to new frame traps. Now he still has his fast disjointed plus on block approach from his short hop JB. Ice Rain is absolutely ridiculous. It is one of the most funny neutral skips I have ever seen, and the reward on it, if it hits, is really good. Frozen Vine is also much faster, making it possible to snipe people. So going back to the question, how well will Londrekia perform in the meta by this criteria? Let's look back at the criteria again, just as a refresher. Now, I think he looks very well-rounded this version. It's a little bit uncommon to have neutral that is so good paired with Oki that is also so good. Some other characters that come to mind are Batista, Merkava, Hilda, Carmine, definitely. Carmine is also looking really strong this version. I think he's in a really good spot. I think that he has the reward off of getting that neutral hit. Once he gets rolling, it all comes together. It's all worth it. The Byakuya meets Orie kind of vibe is definitely there. Now, as far as weaknesses, some of them are the same. Like his 4C is still going to be pretty niche in matchups where they have a 100 meter and a horizontal reversal. That feels really bad. So that did not change. No frame 1 head invul option, but Stand Shield is much better against Assault. Like, you're getting full punishes now on some Assault normals. So maybe not having a frame 1 head invul move isn't as much of a hindrance. Overall, I think his weaknesses are not breaking, A lot of his weaknesses are just that he has good buttons to use on defense and force function. And honestly, I think that's all you need. I think having a horizontal reversal is nice, but it's not the end of the world for him. So, yeah. I think Londrekia is pretty good. Thanks for watching.